welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, the largest entrepreneurial platform for anything to do with your growth journey. Any questions you have, we connect you with the biggest experts across India and across the world. I'm Sunanda Jayasheelan. First up, we're bringing you our Eye on Dubai special series, talking about companies that are innovating in and for the Dubai UAE market. Our focus tonight is on Lenskart. Also in the LOT hot seat tonight is NPCI Bharat BillPay. What is Lenskart doing and why is it one of the hottest startups, not just here in India, but also in the Dubai UAE market? What is their view as far as the kind of growth they can expect to see in that region? All of those questions being posed to the company by our colleague and reporter Karen Osman, joining us from on the ground. Karen, over to you. Take it away. Bring us the interview.
Hi Sunanda. As the retail industry relies more and more on the e-commerce platforms, the UAE market is already ahead of the curve when it comes to meeting customer demand for both online and in-store experiences. One company that's taken advantage of that is Lenskart. Earlier today, I had the opportunity to speak to the Chief Business Officer of the company for the Middle East, Sudhir Syal, about the company's expansion plans. Lenskart started in India in 2010. What was it about Dubai that attracted you to set up here, and what success have you seen so far?
Sure, so we've hit a point in India where by 2018 we've really captured a giant share of the market with over 700 stores, and we said, hey, it's time to go international and see if the Lenskart model works in other countries. We actually went to Singapore first, and we've scaled to 25 stores there in a very short period of time and actually seen that the Lenskart model works, because our model is quite different from other eyewear companies. We are our own white label brands. We use a lot of technology. We use a lot of AI, AR to recommend the right eyewear to consumers. We realize that the Middle East market is ripe for disruption, that there's the waves of online are really growing and booming here. Saudis, the market is opening. Others like Noon, others like Namshi have really succeeded. And the government is really coming together to support, and there's also amazing local talent here. So we said, hey, it's now the right time. 2021, we said we should start. In 2021 March, we began sowing the seeds, and we've opened our store now in record time in December. And our online business has also been up and running for a few months now. And happy to say that our initial hypothesis has proven true, and consumers like in India and Singapore are flocking to Lenskart, and the early signs have been good, touch wood.
How are you different from other optical players in the market?
Cool, great question. So we really differentiate ourselves in three ways. Firstly, we use a lot of AI, AR, and we are high tech from the start. We have a product we call 3D Try-On, which you would have seen when you walked into the store. It's a product which analyzes your face and recommends the right eyewear for you and allows you to choose instantly and choose from our over 5,000 styles. So that's one, right? Secondly, we are omni-channel at its core. So you buy online or offline, you can be online, be directed by offline, you can be offline, be directed by online. But more than that, we are direct to consumer. So we are factory to frame, which means that we control the complete user experience, complete behavior, and we also take out the middleman. Finally, we are our own brands, right? So we have amazing large brands like John Jacobs, LK Air, Vincent Chase, and a very small percentage of our brands are from third-party brands, right? And this is as compared to our competitors, which the bulk of them are like a Galeries Lafayette, where they're a house of brands, and hence indistinguishable from some of the others in the market.
What future plans do you have for the region, and how is Dubai as a hub supporting that?
Great. So for us, MENA is at its heart and core, and we're already aggressively looking at going into Saudi, Qatar, and Egypt, and these are the first three countries that we're looking at in our growth. Dubai has been fantastic, and Dubai, I think the promise of Dubai as a business hub holds true. I think very uniquely and a bit like Singapore, Dubai provides great finance and tax benefits. It's also a very supportive, very responsive government, especially to young entrepreneurs and new enterprises which are scaling. But now also what's happened is with the growth and burst of startups, there's also capital coming in. So one of our investors is the Falcon Group, which is actually from Abu Dhabi. And we've also raised money from TPG and from other funds. But what we realized in Temasek, and what we've realized is that unlike say 10 years ago, where there was a dearth of capital, there was a lack of talent, and there was a lack of technology companies, all of this has changed in a very short period of time, and wouldn't be surprised if the next decade is actually the Middle East.
Your company has used technology right from inception. How easy has it been to replicate that here in Dubai?
Sure, it's been extremely easy. I think we're lucky to have a talented pool of engineers and tech talent here, and we're actually building a tech team here as well. Also our product team here. So AI, AR, for instance, this is one part of the technology suite and offering. Also, when you come into the store, the entire experience is online, and the entire experience is tablet based, right, which has been set up. We also have innovations like the sunroom, which are new in an eyewear store and adds to that lifestyle experience. And for us, time spent in the store is a key metric we're looking at, because we're happy with people coming here, using it as a lounge and enjoying the ambience of a store, and we believe that will lead to future purchase, right? And in the future, you'll see other innovations like eye massages and other such innovations, which are rather not disclosed right now, coming into our retail formats.
Dubai has seen huge growth in e-commerce. How do you anticipate this impacting your business moving forward?
Great. Dubai's growth in e-commerce has been incredible, and I think there are a few factors contributing to it. I think the long summers is one. I also think that the very good logistics that the country provides is another factor. And I see the UAE becoming a hub for the Middle East region. I mean, one of the ideas which we are looking at is potentially to set up a manufacturing plant in the UAE, because it has so much power as a logistics destination, and to set up a plant here to service the entire globe, right? And that's something we are evaluating, and that's potential that uniquely UAE has, unlike other markets, because it's so centrally located.
What key trends are you seeing in technology in Dubai and the wider region?
Sure. So I think one of the key trends, I think the first wave of e-commerce or C2C classifieds, real estate classifieds, e-commerce, I think we've passed the first wave. The second wave we're seeing is social media enabled technology. So we're seeing a lot around influencers, we're seeing a lot around using Snapchat, Instagram as marketing mediums, but also technologies built around that. We've seen e-commerce enablers like logistics, like payment gateways also take shape. I think the next wave is really in higher tech and deeper tech, and we're going to see a lot of investments in cloud, we're going to see a lot of investments in logistics, we're going to see a lot of investments in robotics, in drones, and we're also going to see investments in other hardcore tech like database and the metaverse as well, which is clearly trending, right? Your NFTs and crypto-based technologies, and I think that's where the market is growing. So from more lower tech but higher need requirements to higher tech, and the market can learn from Israel. Israel recently raised $25 billion, right, in 1 year, when the UAE market is at $1 or $2 billion, which is considerably low.
What advice would you give to other businesses looking to start up in Dubai?
Great. So first, I would say look at this as a region and not as UAE alone. Two is, while the number of people are few, I mean UAE has only 9 million people, the spending power can be higher. So think of how you want to tap into the spending power of the consumer. Three, ensure you get your legal incorporation and your legal partners right, because as companies you might spend a lot of time going to rabbit holes and not finding your way, right? And four, move fast, because this is a fast market, lots of money coming in, lots of attention, lots of competition, and you might be left behind if you don't move fast enough.
With a UAE forecast of $27 billion in e-commerce sales in 2022 alone, it's clear there's multiple opportunities for companies looking to thrive and expand from Dubai. Back to you, Sananda.
Thank you so much for that, Karen. I'm going to slip into a short break on that note. When we come back, NPCI Bharat BillPay joining us on the other side. What is happening with the company? What is exciting and new? All of that in conversation with the CEO of the company. Back in just a moment. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight in the hot seat is NPCI Bharat BillPay. Noopur Chaturvedi, the CEO of NPCI Bharat BillPay, joining us here on the show. Noopur, thanks for the time and answering some of the questions that we have and letting our viewers in really on the kind of work that you're doing at your organization. First and foremost, I would like to start by saying this is the first time that we have you here on the show, so it's great having you joining us and really talking to our entrepreneurs about the kind of innovative work that is being done. Give us a bit of a sneak peek in terms of both your personal and your professional journey and, really your career leading up to NPCI.
My professional journey is now a 2-decade journey, primarily in the BFSI space. I started my journey with Citibank, went on to work with ING, both of them great institutions to learn banking in. After that, I joined Samsung and followed with my journey with FinTech, with Airtel Payment Bank, as well as PayU. And now, 3 months earlier, I've joined NPCI Bharat BillPayment. So really been in BFSI space all through, but have explored multiple facets around it, from banking to FinTech, and now to an institute like NPCI, which is really working for the nation and working on public goods.
How has the pandemic really sort of moved and pushed the demand and the need for a cashless economy along even further? What can you tell us?
It's interesting that when pandemic hit, we were anyways much ahead than a lot of other countries in terms of adopting digital payments. And pandemic really helped the cause because really no one had an option. So where, if I were to talk about, use cases of a generation above ours, earlier they were using phones primarily for content consumption, but suddenly they had to buy groceries online, they had to buy medicines online, so on and so forth. And, one generation started doing digital payments for their needs, for their day-to-day needs, and therefore they never came back. And even today, that new normal has stuck in, and everyone is using digital for making day-to-day transactions. But even at the lower rung, at the bottom of the pyramid, we've seen people adopt QR, people adopt Aadhaar Pay, and even Bharat BillPayments offerings quite a lot because no one wanted to exchange cash because it was prone to begetting infections, be it COVID, where people were paying digitally for getting the vaccinations, or simple transactions like buying groceries. Everything moved digital at a very, very fast pace. And while the digital payment transactions moved from 30-40% penetration to 60-70% penetration during pandemic, we have seen that a lot of those people are now using that in their day-to-day lives. The new normal also is less of cash and more of digital transactions. So that has stayed with us. And as a country, given the number of form factors we already have, be it biometric linked payments or QR linked payments or app linked payments, I think we are in a pretty advanced stage of adoption of digital payments and therefore less cash economy. So pandemic has really helped the cause, and we have been ready in terms of infrastructure to aid the digital payment space.
What is the outlook on NPCI Bharat BillPay? How are you planning on scaling up? What details, what plans can you share with us?
Our journey is really a 5-year-old journey where we started with providing consumers an interoperable platform for paying their utility payments. So be it electricity or postpaid bill transactions or gas or water transactions, everything was made available across 5 million physical points and 250 plus online channels. And from there, we are now a platform which is supporting more than 20,000 billers across 20 categories. So we have really expanded the scope and the kind of payments that can happen through BBPS. At the same time, while we're working with digital first consumers and apps like Google Pay, Phone Pay, Amazon Pay for enabling bill payments, at the same time, we are working with a lot of physical channels so that the consumers can walk in to a physical store and then convert their transactions into a digital transactions. So across the pyramid of consumers, across the horizontals of segments, we are enabling digital payments for bill and other utilities.
Could you tell us a little more about BBPS and what the growth really there is? What's the projected plan? How you're planning on expanding? What can you tell us?
So to begin with, let me talk a little more about what Bharat Bill Payment System is. We are sitting in middle of consumers on one side and a lot of billers and utility service providers on the other. We connect both these ecosystems through a very seamless, scalable, stable platform. It also means is that the consumer really now has the choice of what platform or what mode he wants to use for making the payment. He's not forced into logging into a particular system or using a particular wallet or mode, but rather the choice is in consumer's hand. On the other hand, this particular electricity company suddenly has a better visibility of the payments which are happening. They have a better modus operandi of collecting back for the services that they're providing, and they have a much better grip on their cash flows. So the billers benefit because the collection reach becomes vast. The consumers benefit because they have multiple modes of paying back for the services that they're availing. Both the ecosystems have access to this efficient, scalable, and stable platform for reaching out to each other.
How about NBBL and the kind of innovation that it's really being, bringing to the table? What can you tell us on that, Noopur?
Okay, so the innovations at NBBL are happening in two fronts. One are segment-specific innovations that we are working towards. So, for example, the requirement of the electricity company is not the same as requirements of a school or a college. So for every category that we introduce, we are coming out with different products and different kinds of value proposition for the billers of that category. So that is one vertical specific innovation that we're working on. Apart from that, a couple of innovations that we're working on is things like ClickPay, which makes it very, very intuitive and easy for the service companies to collect back for the services that they're providing. So the way it works is if you're an insurance company, you send an SMS link to your consumer. The consumer clicks on the link and what he sees is an array of apps which are all enabled for BBPS. He chooses whichever app he wants to pay using, and everything comes pre-populated and he can very seamlessly complete the payment flow. So similarly, any loan repayment company or any DTH company can very seamlessly collect back for the services that they're providing. This is one of the many innovations that we are working on. The others include UPMS, which is Unified Presentment Management System, that we will be launching next quarter, and another innovation that we're launching by the name of Bharat One, which will enable a lot of value-added services on top of BBPS. So you can look forward to an array of innovations that are coming from our stables.
We were talking about the pandemic and, really the push towards more of a cashless society here in the country. But if there were any further reforms that you would like to see as we're moving towards this digital economy, what would that be?
I think the gap between people who are transacting digitally and who are not transacting digitally, one lies in rural India, where the digital penetration is only at around 20% right now. And while there's access to internet, while there's access to various modes of payment, they are still a little far away from doing or adopting digital payments in full form, primarily because of digital inclusion or digital education that hasn't reached there. What comes parallel to digital education is the entire trust building, which needs to happen, because people hear about one story of a lost credit card or some fraud, and they move 4 steps back in adopting digital payments. So trust and digital education, they go hand in hand. We have to tell people how to protect themselves, protect their data, protect their PINs, so on and so forth, so that they have the confidence of doing the digital payments. At the same time, as an ecosystem, we have to work towards reducing fraud and building trust one step at a time, so that no money is ever lost for the consumers who are coming onto digital platforms for the first time. They need to be protected, their interest needs to be taken care of, and if they lose money, the ecosystem needs to come together for ratification and correction of that grievance. So once we work towards these 2 things, I think the adoption will be much more across the strata.
All right, Noopur, thanks so much for your time. Completely out of time on tonight's episode. If you have any feedback for us, as always, we're all ears. Our contact details on our screens as we speak. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.